Path. I'm Laura Donnelly, founder of the Healing Path Conversation Series and Dancing with Ease Body-Brain Balance. People hire me to teach them to move out of pain and into healing. These conversations with friends and colleagues from all over the world offer many perspectives on healing. The thing we have in common is the concept that healing begins inside ourselves with the decision to heal, and then it expands outward from there. Today's guest is Janine Shapiro, and she'll talk to you about that lovely Janine Kathleen, which rhymes and blends together, and how she chose that for her business name. Janine will join us right now on screen. Hi.
Hello.
And so it's your afternoon. It's my
Yes.
morning. So I have my coffee. And I'm
Enjoy.
so happy you could join all the way from South Africa. And please share a little bit about what you want people to know about you.
Oh, Laura, thank you so much for the privilege of being here. And I would just like to say, I love your Dancing with Ease title because I enjoy dancing so much. It's one of the ways that I realign my energy. It's one of the ways I come back to center. And it's something I normally ask my clients, besides picking up a pencil and painting, colored crayons and painting. I ask my clients to do. So, dancing with ease is just such a privilege for so many. That ease part. Okay, I'm not a good dancer and I still love it. You were mentioning my name, Janine Kathleen. That is my name. My mom called me the French form Janine rather than the Italian form Giannina because she thought it would be easier for people to spell and work with. Little did she know, I've had so many pronunciations of it. And when I was looking to know what to call my business, I heard Janine Kathleen. And I went, oh, okay. And Janine Kathleen, as the business, has her own identity. She has her own vision. And it is a pleasure to work with her. And people may think I'm strange talking about my business as a her. And she is a her. That is her energy.
I understand completely. And working with people as they're building their businesses, one of the things I do is I say you're in relationship with
Yes.
your business. And
Yes.
just like any other person, your business has a life cycle of its own, a birth, a growth, a development.
Mm-hmm.
But like any partnership, if it runs off at 195 miles an hour and you're just out of breath trying to keep up, that's not a good relationship.
It's not at all.
So I
Uh,
perfectly understand that your business has an energy and a personality and a
yes.
flow.
And I speak about having a dance of life with her. And that is one of the reasons I really enjoyed the name Janine Kathleen. To me, it was elegant. It looked like a dancer with a skirt, a teal skirt on. Sometimes, other times, she has very business dress. That persona depends on the mood and what we're creating together. And just the fact that we can do it pain free and just with ease is beautiful.
Absolutely. And that relationship, the movement relationship, that's what I talk about too with Dancing with Ease. It's a play, right? And and the ease in my life flows in and out. And when I was a young dancer, I would be, on stage performing, and I would hit that sweet spot where I couldn't make a mistake. And after the performance, I wouldn't even really remember what had happened other than it had been wonderful.
Yes.
And over time, I discovered that every like a lot of people, athletes and people who play and musicians and things, they have this, but it seems magical and hard to access as a state. And I realized it's just really our natural state of being,
Mm-hmm.
and that we take ourselves out of it.
We do, and very much because we trained to take ourselves out of it. And that is one of the reasons when I work with people, I ask them to align their energy with what they're doing, with where they're going, who they see themselves as, and literally learn to communicate with themselves and learn what life is communicating to them, what their body is communicating to them. And I just had such a picture of you floating through the dance, feeling into the energy, being completely aligned with the music, with the movement, with the audience, with the vision of the choreographer. And we get to choreograph our life. And when we are out of step, that is very often where pain comes in, discordant notes come in, and we get to reassess what the harmony is, because that's what energy is. It's a form of harmony, of frequency, of vibration. And that was just such a lovely visual of you in flow and that sweet spot with dance.
And it goes everywhere in your life. And when you align, what my experience has been, when I am in alignment physically with my skeleton, but also emotionally and energetically with what I'm doing, everything seems to be easier. You know, I
Mhm.
I took a little short drive over the weekend, and everywhere there were beautiful trees. We're fall here, where I live in Kansas, and I know you guys are heading into spring, but we're in the fall, and there were just so many trees changing
Beautiful.
color, and it was, we didn't plan a trip to see the trees. It just happened, and that's the thing too. When I am in my state of ease and alignment, I see things that I miss otherwise. I see opportunities in my business, like connecting with you. And I mean, we ended up in the same group, and then I'm like, I think I know her somewhere.
Oh, wow, actually.
And then I go checking on the Facebook, I saw, oh, we were in all these groups together. We did, and I'm like, I'm saying hello. And it was just a beautiful, energetic connection.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
it wasn't the right connection earlier. I mean, there was some connection earlier, but it wasn't this connection earlier.
That's very much where the alignment. And what that does is it may not make life easy, it does bring the ease of following that whisper, listening to our intuition, sitting down and meditating, allowing ourselves while we do our dishes to really be in the moment, be conscious, be present, be understanding. Because people, that is when we get to release the past, release the future, and just be within ourselves and within center. And Laura, I'm sure you experienced that while you were dancing. It was when you were in the moment of that step, that point, that area, that the sweet spot started unfolding, because that's what happens in life.
Right. And the thing that took me out fastest was fear. What if I
Yes.
can't, what if I can't finish this step right? You know, or even once, this is so funny. I was ready to go on stage, and the music was playing for the other part that I wasn't in, and I was used to listening to it, and all of a sudden my ear, I'm hearing it half time instead of the regular tempo that I normally counted. And for one moment I was like, and then I just had to go, you know. And oh, that's so interesting, Janine, that I wonder about this sometimes when I'm working with people. What
Mhm.
gives a person the courage to jump? And I
Yeah.
don't know. Do you have an idea?
Well, courage comes from the French word cour, which means of the heart. When we work with our heart rather than our logic, that is when we step forward. That is alignment. That is aligning with our life, that is when we see the fear and say, hey, come and play. Let's move beyond the fear through it, because it's going to be there anyway. It's like, as you mentioned, the trees going through the season. That doesn't stop us from living our life. We go ahead anyway, and we work with the seasons. We either dress more warmly or dress less warmly. We either put on snow boots or we put on slip slops. And this is where we step into that alignment. We do it anyway. And that for me is when we get into that sweet spot. We then check in with our body. Body, where's the tension? Where am I feeling it? Is it in my throat? Is it in my forehead? Is it in my legs or my knees? Where's this tension coming from? What is it saying to me? Soul, what are you telling me? Body, what are you and soul both sharing with me? Oh my goodness, look at all these beautiful owls coming along and talking to me at night. Where am I being asked to experience wisdom, work with feminine energy? Where am I being asked to step into my truth? And when we block it, that stuck energy hurts. That stuck energy prevents us from that beautiful dancing with ease. It prevents us from being a dancer with life. We then become sidelined. Yes, stiff, rigid. I love that you do that. That was just beautiful. That rigidity is what then gets in the way. And when we are able to align with our energy centers, the harmony we're being asked to bring in our life, we get to dance with ease.
We do in every activity, whether you're cooking, whether you're hanging your laundry on the line, whether you're giving a really, really important presentation.
Yes.
It just comes back to that. And I loved what you said about the heart. I might ask you to say that courage comes from the heart. You know, in the Wizard of Oz, that's what the cowardly
Yes.
lion wanted. And
Yes.
that's a favorite story of mine. Um, the thing I was thinking, you know, when I told you the little story about not hearing the music right, and my brain is freaking out, but then it's my time to go. And I think what I felt when you said that about the courage comes from the heart, it was that my love of dancing is what made me go, even though the beginning didn't sound like I was used to hearing it sound.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'll be thinking about that when I work with people because everybody comes to this thing where, oh, if I do this, everything's going to change. And you know, in my brain, I'm thinking, well, yes, but that's why you're working with me, because you wanted everything to change. So we're right here. Let's go. No.
What I find works in those situations is, let's ask, what is the change I'm looking for? Where can I activate that now? Have you ever listened to Roberto Villoldo? He studied as a shaman and he helps people through shamanic journeying. Do you know his work at all?
No, we'll have to. We'll never.
Um, he writes a lot of books. I enjoy reading. I love reading. And I forgot what I wanted to say because I was asking about, he was sharing today about moving through life and with life and connecting with that, moving beyond the fear. And it just made so much sense. And it's so interesting that you brought it up. Yes, courage. Take your heart and work with your heart, even when it sounds different, because it's in that difference. And it's when we can ask, what change am I actually looking for? Can I do it now? And what he was saying is, he was sharing about a journey where you go and you look in the cave of remembrance and in the various caves. And instead of going to go and buy something in the physical that looked like what you were being shown there, go and find it in your home, even if it's as close as you can get it. Because so many times we're looking out there instead of looking right here, because it's right here. And that's what you did. You knew the dance, you knew to step forward, and you knew that you were going to be called forward. And that is what aligning our energy is about. It's also about, are we choosing to work in that low vibrational energy of fear, of shame, and of guilt? How can I do it when the music's halftime? What am I going to do if I can't find it? What happens if people laugh at me? We look at that energy and say, thank you for coming forward. You know what? We choose joy. We choose happiness. We choose to step onto that stage and to work with it, walk with it, and to allow it, which is what ultimately your story illustrates. That is so beautiful, Laura. Thank you.
It's making me run a sneeze, which I think is like, expelling something
Release.
energetically, but I didn't want to like blow the podcast off the, off the screen. But it is also one step at a time. I think a lot of times people do, there's so many things you said that I'm just like, my brain's going, tick, 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 tick. Um, people think that the change has to be like leaping over a giant chasm.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just like you said, um, finding something in your house that resonates with the energy of the change you want to make. Once I had a dream, and I dreamed about everything orange, driving by a food stall full of oranges, and just and when I woke up, the orange was so bright in my mind. And I had had a soda pop in the dream. I was not drinking any sugar, so I'm like, well, I can't drink that. But I found orange juice in my refrigerator, so I had orange juice, and I found an orange shirt, and the whole day when I was playing with the orange, I was so happy. And it wasn't a logical thing. It was an energy thing. And my body needed that energy of orange.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to the body, because like you said, the body is communicating with us, whether it's tension or pain. It's a lot of times we think, well, I just want that to go away. And like you said, what is it? What's it trying to say? The,
Mm-hmm.
the language of the body is not verbal first. I mean, I think it tries sometimes, like you might hear words or something. It tries to get it to a verbal level, but it's
Mm-hmm.
a much different way of communicating. And so curiosity, I'm sure curiosity is a big piece of your work.
Absolutely. Asking questions without why. Refrain from using why, people. Would you like to know the reason for that?
Yes, tell everyone.
When we use the word why, it creates our brain and the universe to go and seek it. So when you ask why is this happening to me, you will repeat it happening. Why am I so wrong? Why am I this? Why am I that? Okay, obviously, if you say, why am I multi-millionaire in dollar and pound terms, that's a good why. That maybe depends on the energy, because if you're asking it in lack, it's going to bring more lack. There's also a feeling behind it. Whereas when we use what, when, where, whom, and a how, the how is up to the universe. The bottom line is when we ask why, our body and our brain go and look for it. The universe starts creating it. So if you say, why is this happening to me? Your body goes and your brain goes, they want more of that. Well, it's great if it's chocolate nut fudge sundae and you have a metabolism that you stay racehorse lean. That's wonderful. When it's lack or pain or something else, you just get more of it. So we tend to avoid the word why. I'm asking if you'd avoid the word why because it will make your life have more ease in it. Sorry, Laura, you were saying.
I like to, with curiosity, sometimes I say, I wonder what.
Yes.
I wonder if, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or another one like when I'm doing something that's challenging, like finishing a tax return or something like that. I ask myself, how easily can I finish this?
Yes.
And it just moves me from that this is so hard thought. And the thought's okay. The brain is a great thing in its channel.
Yes. when it stays in its own lane.
Yes. And it is a kind of a greedy driver, the brain. And it I think the basic energy of the brain is that it really does wish to help us.
Yes, and keep us safe.
But it just, when it gets out of its lane, it is like dancing. If I'm getting ready to do a performance and I'm thinking all the steps and all the counts, it's that's part of it. That's part of it. Maybe I had to think those things to learn it, but at some point I have to let those things go and
Yes.
just be in the moment, on the stage, with the music.
Yep. On the stage of life, moving with flow, with flow, and ease and joy. And when we allow that, wow, that is just so powerful what
I
happens.
was so excited talking to you. I forgot to put on the little thingies where people can reach you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Also, when we become curious, we allow for more possibility. Instead of our limited thinking and experience, we open ourselves up to what the universe, what source has for us, what God has for us, and it allows an expansion that helps align our energy in a much deeper way. May I share a story about what you were saying there about filling in forms? A business associate had to get a certain lot of forms in by this was the Monday, and he had to have them in by the Tuesday. And he phoned to ask me a question about how he works with a PDF form and because he kept getting stuck. And I heard come out of his mouth, "Why are these forms so jolly hard to fill in? Why are they taking so much time?" Well, Laura, I came to a screaming halt and I said to him in a very loud tone of voice, "What did you just say?" And he went, "Oh." I said, "Well, please say with me, what are the infinite possibilities of finishing these forms with ease, with absolute ease and promptly?" Well, he phoned me about 3 hours later to say that something that had taken him 4 days to do, he did all of them in just over an hour, just under or over an hour, all through just switching his energy, switching into curiosity, switching into expansion, and curiosity providing it's on an expansive note, not gossip, criticizing, condemning, or complaining, getting into somebody else's business, providing it's on a creative level, an expansive level, and let's work together level. Wow, it just really brings things we would never ever have dreamed of. And yet, we did dream of them. We had a feeling of them. And that by raising the energy, just like this young man raised his energy from to, oh, what are the possibilities? That thing shifted like this for him. And he got out of that emotional pain of battling, of struggle, of everything's got to be so hard. I've got to work hard into where's the ease? Where's the flow? And that is what happens when we align our energy with ease, when we allow our energy with feeling better, when we align our energy with what it is we would like to go with in our life. And in fact, when we step out of being in control to being control and to be effortlessly. Laura, I'm sure you know the be, do, have principle. Have you ever worked with that?
Not in those exact words, but I probably do it without
I'm sure
thinking.
you do. You did it the day you got on the stage when the music was half time instead of full time. When you write down 3 columns, on the left hand side, write be, in the middle, write do, and on the right hand side, write have. Make a list of what it is you would like to have. Then go and fill in under the do. What do you feel you would be required to do to have that? And on the left-hand column, well, who do you get to be today in the moment in order to be able to do that, to have that? And what are the infinite possibilities, the potentials of having something even better without having that hard work, rather working effectively with foresight and in a higher vibrational energy. Because when I can be the person I would like to be in 10 years' time, wow. And so I'm sure you do this with your clients as well. I ask them, what would your 5-year-old, 5 years hence person thank you for doing today? What would yourself in 5 years appreciate that you did today? Where can you lift your energy, shift your energy, get into curiosity and align your energy, unblock all those energy points in your body so that you can connect with community, connect with your creativity, connect with your power, step into compassion, know your truth, and receive what the universe and source has for you as you connect directly with the creator of worlds, universes, and your life. Where was I going with this? I forget what you asked.
We just have been kind of talking all about alignment and being and the be do have. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was it. Be do have.
And I think that where the a lot of times where the breakdown happens is in the do.
Yes.
And the even last summer I had this idea about, okay, I would like to have my book that I worked on be very popular and bring new clients to me, and then I was like, freezing. It was the doing. I had the idea that meant I would have to do more work and see more people, and and I didn't want to have my life that full. So
Mm-hmm.
I got stuck in the feeling of not wanting to do the one thing I imagined, not the curiosity of how many different things could I do that would allow me to have that idea come into being that I wanted. I just locked on one, which is kind of the mind going ABC, and I had to like back up, get a bigger perspective, breathe a little bit and say, oh, okay, that's one option, but that's
Mm-hmm.
just one option.
Mm-hmm.
And there's many options. But when, it's also like going to the museum or art gallery and uh, perspective. If you stand right close to the painting, you can see 6 inches of it. And if you back up, then you can see the whole painting. And then if you back up further, you can see the perspective that the artist was going for. And so then it's like, oh, point of view. But the brain is so strong. Sometimes it just fixes on an idea and it just holds onto it really tightly.
That's when we ask, what else is possible? What are the infinite possibilities? And are you ready for it? How can life get any better than this? For me, those phrases have helped me shift my energy like this. I also use another tool when I'm getting stuck. I go 3, 2, 1, change, 3, 2, 1, change, 3, 2, 1, change. Laura, have you heard about switch words?
I'm I Yeah, here's what I talk about: changing the track that you're on, like the train track with a switch. So you go in one direction and you switch it, and it can be words, it can be actions too. But tell
Yeah.
me your switch words. I love
Okay. Change is a switch word. It helps our brain to change. The challenge is some people are terrified of change. So then I help them go 3, 2, 1, shift, 3, 2, 1, shift, 3, 2, 1, shift. Because what that does is it goes below ego, it goes below the conscious mind into the deep inner consciousness and helps us to shift that energy. When we shift the action, we literally are shifting karma. We're releasing it, we're letting it go, and we're working with it. And the first step, number one, as you mentioned, is get curious. The second one is go and look and where you can switch the energy. And that's what switch words do. Like together. Would you do something with me, please, Laura? Check out your body. How does your body feel? Just don't verbalize it, just feel what your body's feeling. Now, please say the word together with me out loud 3 times. Together,
Together,
together. Say it again.
together,
Together.
together.
What happened in your body when you said that word?
Things kind of slowed down, and I had the idea, that the feeling that my brain and body were working together.
Literally, mind, body, and soul comes together. It's a switch word to help us reconnect with the energy above and the energy below and the energy within. And when our bodies are experiencing blocked energy or extreme discomfort, when our minds are going around a racetrack, that small switch word, together, 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 just helps us to slow down, to release other people's points of view and bring ourselves back to ourselves. Thank you for playing along with me. That's
Oh,
certain things we like to play with, and certain things we say bye bye. We're not playing with you today.
right. And for me, it's like recognizing that those things that no longer serve me were very useful and beneficial at another time.
Yes,
Then I can let them go gracefully,
yes.
gently. Whereas if I just, well, I hate that I always do that, and then I want to throw it away. But like that, I hate that I always do that makes that thing bigger. And
Mm-hmm.
and if I say that was one way of doing or being or solving a situation, and that worked then,
Yes.
it's not necessarily the way I need today in this situation.
And you said something very interesting there. You used the word always. Now, when we use the word always, we are programming that into our brain that we continuously keep doing it. And that is a time we go 3 to 1 change, 3 to 1 change, 3 to 1 change, together, 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 and say, oh, I did that just this one time. And I allow it to slide away because many times we are programmed with that word always. Have you heard people saying, you always do that, or I always do that? Really? What if you could avoid doing that? What if you could reprogram that? Lift the energy. Okay, it's great to say I always give people what they offer, and my coaching clients are phenomenal. That's a good place to use always. The challenge is people normally use it when they're unhappy with somebody else.
Right. Well, and so a lot of what you're talking about is awareness.
Very much.
Awareness of the words that you're using, when
Yes.
you're using them, why why you're saying them. One of the things
Let's avoid why. Let's avoid why.
yes, but people are like,
Yes.
well,
What?
my mom said that. My cousin one day, she said to her kids, they were fighting in the back seat, you be quiet right now or I'm going to give you something to cry about. And she's like, oh, that was just my mom. I swore I would never say that. Oh, never is another one, like always.
Yes. Yes.
And these are words that box us in. And we can use words to expand or
Mm-hmm. Or
use words to
constricting.
constrict. And
Yes.
again, it's the awareness. What are we doing? Why? Not why, but what made us choose that word now? And and then kind of joyfully, playfully, what's another word? What's another,
Switch it. Yeah.
what if I didn't do that? It what
Mm-hmm.
even like something habitual. And I like to ask people, just practice changing this on something that doesn't matter.
That's beautiful, Laura. Yes.
If you always hold your glass with your right hand to take a drink of water, get a plastic cup and try it with your left hand.
I love that. Yes. And we can say, oh, it's fun to try it differently. What are the infinite possibilities of my left hand helping me here?
And since it's not seriously, actually a dear friend taught me that about, I wanted to French braid my hair when I was in my 20s, and it was so hard for me to learn. And she's like, do it at night before bed.
Yes.
Just practice it every night before bed, because you're going to sleep. It doesn't matter if it turns out
Mhm.
badly. And that for me was really helpful, because like I want everything to be perfect when I was young, and 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 then I was able to learn it without that pressure.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so that's one of the things, like maybe I want to change something very important in my life, but changing a small thing is changing the big thing.
It truly is. Laura, tell me something. Do you know what the word quantum leap actually means?
Well, now that's interesting. Let me think a second, because it's very present
Mm.
in the world.
Mm.
I would assume that it means like quantum leap, like jumping light years or something. I mean, like it's used like a lot in science fiction and stuff like that. But we can make those. Just your shift can be a quantum leap for somebody's life. It can change how everything goes from here forward.
Yes. It's the smallest amount of energy expended for the largest benefit.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like you say, everyone sees these huge jumps. No, huge jumps cost way too much energy. They are going to set you back light years, never mind take you forward light years. Small movements, incremental movements get you there faster than large jumps. And those incremental movements are the quantum leap, the smallest energy expenditure for the largest shift possible. It is just so different and opposite to what we have been taught and shown. When I see those pictures of people leaping chasms, I go, oh no, what else is possible? Because what I have seen is when people make those really huge radical shifts, they go back to where they were. And in fact, they regress even further back than that because they haven't built the energetic capacity to maintain that shift and that leap. And that they can't maintain it. And that's one of the reasons, like when people win the lotto or receive a huge unexpected inheritance, they are unable to maintain it because energetically there is no the capacity to hold it is unavailable. Energetically, their energy was unprepared to hold the weight of that energy because that's what finances are, they energy. And if we have no capacity to hold it or container to hold it, you can pour in $1 million, and if it's a container that can only hold 10, guess what's going to happen? The rest is going to go away. And emotionally, if people are unprepared for that success, if they are unprepared for that responsibility and accountability, they are unable to maintain it. And guess what? They fall down into the pit rather than going back to the other side. Doom and gloom, I understand. And yet, when people can understand that small steps, building your energetic capacity helps you to align to your life purpose in a far more sustainable way than these huge, vast leaps that people portray to you. That's just me on my bandwagon and soapbox. And yet, I have experienced it, I have seen it, and it just you've seen what happens to dancers who they have this gift and they forget to practice, they are unavailable to practice. They unfortunately hurt themselves, damage themselves because they have their body has been unavailable to build the capacity for the muscle to maintain that strain, that movement, and that energetic expansion and stretch. Whereas when we work with it and we build it up over time, it's sustainable. And that is where your dancing with ease comes in, having built the capacity to maintain where we are going, aligning with the energy of where we're going to be, because that will give us the ability to do without falling back.
Yeah, and it is a gradual. I mean, babies don't start running.
No, not any I've seen.
It's built into our DNA to take gradual steps in terms of listening to the body, and it's not what is it? It's not as flashy
Mm-hmm.
as and it doesn't seem as fast.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that my clients often share with me is from where they are now, and they look back and they're like,
Yes.
wow, I didn't realize this was happening. And that for me is a very organic growth, and
Yes.
and it's one in which they own the process of each
Yes.
step. So that when people start to, well, like your client who called you, he knew he was stuck,
Yeah.
but he couldn't remember the tools to get
Yeah.
unstuck, and so he asked for help, which is excellent. And
Yes.
then as soon as you reminded him of that change, that shift, that he was like, oh, right, boom, and he was off again. It's like getting gas in your
Yes.
of your car. When sometimes you're running on empty, even
Yep.
as a person. You did too much, you gave too much, or you made too many changes. Not too many, but
Too quickly.
or you just, life put on you a lot of this, that, and the other thing, and you did a lot of things differently, and the next day you kind of feel dizzy, and it's like, just rest,
Mm-hmm.
because changing takes energy,
It
and it
does.
and you need to give, like digesting a giant meal, you want to digest the new place where you are. And when you stop doing old habits, there is for a little while an emptiness that used to
Mm.
be filled up with that. Might have been a busy way of doing things, all kinds of things, but it gives sometimes you're tired from doing this work, and you just need to rest a little bit. and
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of your dance too, part of your business, right? Taking time off, um, quiet times to plan ahead. It's it's bigger than just running towards a goal.
That is so true. I can't remember which CEO it was. They said when they have a very full day, that is the day they meditate and come into stillness the most, because they know that they are aligning their energy with the demand. And on less busy days, they still do their meditation, and on the busiest, they make sure they get that stillness time in. And people, even if it's just to stop, take 3 breaths in and out through your nose, and even just gently place your hands over your chest. That brings you back into center, realigns your energy, and just that quick checkup on how do my feet feel. Focus on your feet for a few minutes. Focus on your ankles. Focus on your calves and shins, your legs, your lower abdomen, and your back. Focus on your chest area, your shoulders, and your hands. See where the stress and the tension is. Ask body, what are you telling me? Is this mine? A very important question I have found. Is this mine? Whomever it belongs to, if belonging to someone else, I release from my body and my energy as fast as is comfortable for me. When we check in with our throat, is there a lump in your throat? Where are you blocking your truth? If it is out of alignment to speak it out loud, pick up a pen and paper and go and journal it. Go and work with it. Go and align with what is your truth. Rip it up, burn it, and come back into gratitude, because that energy of gratitude shifts us, aligns us, and allows us to move forward in a far more pleasant and dance with ease. Comes back, brings us back into the harmony we have. And those three delicious words, together, together, and together, allow us to bring our energy back into alignment. And all of a sudden, wow, things just fall into place. Isn't that incredible?
It is, and it's almost, well, it often seems magical in its simplicity,
It really is.
and it's so joyful. And thank you so much for sharing so many good ideas. I think we could talk probably all day.
We naturally could. I've been known to.
Ah, yes, and people can reach you at your website at this one, the Linktree site. There's all kinds of different links. I kind of love that. I went there and I'm like, oh, that's so clean and easy for people to find. And we just had a lovely time sharing, and I look forward to seeing you again and talking about who knows what we will talk about next time. But thank you for shifting and being together and sharing your joy and happiness.
You are so welcome. Thank you for the space, and thank you to your audience.
Take care.